Hey YouTube, I wanted to go through some of the basic equipment you need to shoot IDPA, International Defensive Pistol Association matches or even practice. This is practical pistol. I think if you if you have a license to carry and you carry, or you just want to become competent with a pistol in terms of practical uses of a pistol for self-defense or for home defense, IDPA has a lot to offer for you. I did a video on it. Please check it out. It's a great sport, a lot of fun. You'll meet a lot of good people, and you'll become very, very competent with a pistol. And you'll learn things about pistol shooting you never could have learned by just shooting paper targets at some fixed distance in a stationary manner. What do you need? Well, first of all, you need a pistol, and there's all different flavors. You can shoot in different divisions, but I'm going to just talk about stock service pistol. So for stock service pistol, I shoot Beretta 92. Here it is. It's been safety checked. It's clear. Beretta 92 is a really, really great pistol. I think in modern pistol world, so many polymer guns and new guns out there, this guy gets overlooked. This one happens to be stainless. It's basically the same civilian version of the military sidearm, chambered in 9mm. It's a great, reliable pistol. Now for carry, it's big. This is a big pistol, especially since it's a 9mm. But for IDPA, that's good. Things you need to be able to shoot fast and accurately. So you want a nice long sight radius rather, and you want a pistol that's highly reliable. So this will fit the bill. There's no question about it. Let's just do some close-ups of this. Here we go. This is a beauty. You can see some grease. I use grease on the rails because this gets a lot of rounds put through it, especially at IDPA. And there you have it. Beautiful firearm. It's great. I think by far, in terms of firearms, what's shot at IDPA, I'd say Glock really rules the roost. But in my hands, this is the biggest 9mm I have. My other 9mm is a Glock 26 that I did a IDPA vid on, but that was more for just practicing with something I would carry. This would be more for competition. I live in Massachusetts. Getting brand new Glocks is a bit of an issue. I don't even have it is because they're not deemed safe by the Attorney General's office, if you can believe that. In any event, at some point when I can find a really nice Glock 17, I'll pick that up. But I don't like buying used firearms, so we'll just have to wait until something particularly tasty comes up in the Glock 17 area. I don't like the larger Glocks that people use for competition. I think they're kind of against the spirit of IDPA, and I think they might actually be in a different division. And the Glock 19 is great, but the sight radius is a little bit shorter on it. Perfectly fine for IDPA. I'd probably go for the 17 because honestly I don't think I'd carry a 19 with me. It's again a rather large pistol. So Glock 17. What else do you need? You need the pistol, you need magazines, you need at least 3 magazines, you need a magazine carrier that I'll get to. I have 2 of them here. You need a really good belt, a really good gun belt. This gun belt happens to be a wilderness instructor's belt. I did a video on this before. It's a 5-stitch, real stiff. So this is probably, I think, the most popular or most heavily used pistol belt for IDPA. It's good, really good quality. For IDPA matches, I told you they are practical pistol. So you also need a light. So here's a TK11. Let me just get this in order. Here we go. Here's a TK11, Phoenix TK11 in a Comtech holder or holster, light holster. And what's nice about this is it's on your weak side. You can just grab it off your belt as you pull it, engage it, turn it on with your thumb, and then you can, this is usually how I hold it. I hold it like a kind of between my middle finger and my ring finger on my offhand side. When it's on, you can now maneuver it pretty well. This whole thing, you know, you see on the movies, you got your pistol in this hand, this is crossed underneath it. Yeah, good luck with that. You can use it, it's just not that great. Okay, there's a TK11 and a compact holder. You need a magazine holder. I really like these Uncle Mike's. These are relatively inexpensive. This is just an Uncle Mike's magazine carrier. It's for a double stack magazine. There's an adjustment screw here, so you can make this tight, as loose as tighter, as loose as you want to house your magazines. Now, let's get this on camera. When you're drawing and reloading, you need to have your magazines in a way where you can put your finger alongside of them here. Let's try to do this. A little awkward doing this in front of the camera, but we'll get it to work. So what you really need to be able to do is get your finger in front of the magazine. When you pull it out, your finger should be indexing right below that round. Okay, this is a loaded magazine, so I'm not going to put it in the gun. But now you can basically, fingers like this, right? All you have to do is you can easily, because one thing we're all really good at as human beings is pointing. Now you can just point this into the pistol, slam that home, and you are ready to go. Okay? So we'll get to that in another video in terms of how to reload for IDPA. I'm not particularly fast, but you know, this is an ongoing process. These are Beretta factory magazines. Notice this is just a 10-round magazine because that's what we're allowed to have in Massachusetts. Unless you get a magazine that was manufactured before the ban, so I have 15-round magazines too that are Beretta. I like to save these, which brings me to my next point. For IDPA, I think it's a really good idea to buy aftermarket magazines. These are for the Beretta 92, and they're actually made by Mekgar. Hopefully you can see that right there. Mekgar makes really good magazines. They have this plastic bottom. Now IDPA, you're going to drop magazines onto the ground a lot, especially during a reload. So it's kind of nice to have these. They're not cheap, but what's nice about it is that you can you care less about them, right? You can consider them as if they get damaged, no big deal. And you can keep your factory magazines in really good shape in case you wanted to resell the firearm if that's an issue for you. This is a Phobos magazine carrier. I don't like them. I would not get one of these again. For a wide belt, I've had problems with them being super tight, so I took a Dremel tool to them, and it's just the way this thing is bent, it's really hard to put a heavy belt through here, and you can't adjust them. They're riveted in there, and that's it. So basically this comes from Phobos the way it comes from Phobos, and you're not going to be adjusting it at all. You can put your belt through it, that's all fine, but overall I would say that there are definitely better choices on the market. Again, I want to get to that point about a magazine carrier. This is on your belt, okay? On your left side of your right-hand shooter. You want to have it, the magazine's oriented in a way where the rounds are facing forward, so when you grab that magazine and pull it out, your finger is right where I said it should be before, okay? Practice that, it's good. So that's it, that's what you need for IDPA, except one thing we did not cover is a really good holster. Now, there are lots of holsters on the market. I'm fumbling around this one, take it off the belt. This is a Blackhawk Serpa holster. I have it set up in a paddle configuration. It's just nice so you don't have to take your belt on and off to put a pistol on you. Remember, IDPA matches, the ranges run cold, so you should be able to take your pistol on and off with the holster. It's very useful. The way this works, a lot of people complain about it, but let's just insert the pistol here. So the retention's really good, right? This is Serpa Blackhawk Serpa for the Beretta 92. And the way you draw the pistol, and you should practice this, is there's a button here. You need to push that button in and draw. Now, if you know how to draw a pistol from a holster, this is the way you would normally do it no matter what. You keep your finger in a position where it indexes to the frame, not into the trigger or the trigger guard. Now, there's been reports, I don't know how true it is or not, but that people, when they draw these, their finger goes onto the trigger and they cause accidental discharges and people have gotten hurt. I don't know if it's true or not. That's what people have said. But I can tell you that I don't care what kind of holster you have. If you don't know how to draw from a holster, you're going to have issues. And I don't think it's unique to the Serpa or the Blackhawk holsters. I can also tell you that one thing that's good about IDPA is it lets you know right away what the level of difficulty for various things are. Drawing a firearm from a holster in a controlled way is not trivial. You really need to practice it, especially if it's concealed. Now, IDPA matches, you have to have a concealment garment. Most people wear those photographer-looking vests that I call them a shoot me first vest, because if somebody's wearing those, they're usually concealing something, right? But you can wear a shirt or whatever, as long as it's long enough to completely cover your firearm. Then you got to push it back and draw. And I can tell you, a lot of people get a concealed carry license. They think they're going to buy a holster, they're going to tote a gun around, and they'll be ready for self-defense. I'm telling you, it's far more complicated to draw from a holster in a controlled manner, to bring a gun up, to get it ready in a position where you can put rounds on target in an accurate manner is not trivial, and it must be practiced. The other issue, so that's drawing. The other issue is replacing or reholstering a loaded firearm. Okay, reholstering a loaded firearm, and the mental discipline that it takes to do that without injuring yourself or other people. This is on your strong side in thinking about carefully locating that holster with your thumb, coming up to the side of it, with your finger always off the trigger. It can't go off, right? Finger off the trigger and reholstering. Reholstering, reloading is absolutely critical. All those things become far, far more difficult if you don't have the right equipment, particularly a really good gun belt. I can't stress how important a good gun belt is. If you don't have a good gun belt, you're going to get really, really frustrated. It's going to be very uncomfortable. Every time you draw, it's going to move up and down. The gun's going to sit on your hip and tend to flop out, because remember, the magazine well, once it's loaded, it's going to be the heaviest. It'll tend to cant out. Spend some money on some equipment. How much does all this stuff cost? Wilderness instructor's belt, except for the pistol, okay? The Wilderness instructor's belt, around $40. Magazine carriers are not cheap. They can be in the $30 to $40 range. I wouldn't recommend Phobos again. Very disappointed in them. A good flashlight that you can use for IDPA, you're talking, $70 and up range. Some people would actually go for a smaller flashlight than this. I think when I upgrade, I'll go for something that's a little bit thinner. Surefire makes some beauty, so does Phoenix, and magazines. So you need a good holster, lens down, so when you draw, okay. Now, one thing that's nice is there's a lot of these carriers. This is a Comtech, it's outstanding quality. There's a lot of these light carriers or light holsters for the more popular brands. Getting one for Phoenix is a little bit more difficult, but Comtech makes one, and it's really, really outstanding. So you're talking another $40 for that. Then a holster like the Serpa, I think I got that thing for around $40. So, not that much money. You should have 2 magazine carriers. So let's say 80, another 40 for the belt. Let's say 50 for the belt. 130, another 40 for a light holder. Now you're up to 170. Another 70 for a decent light, so right up to 240, And then magazine carriers again. You know, you're talking about for equipment to be really kitted out with in a holster, you're talking about $275 or so, $275 to $300, depending on what you go for and what you buy, not including the magazines or the pistol, because the magazine price is going to vary depending on what you buy and what kind of pistol you have. It's worth every penny of it, folks. If you're a pistol shooter and you're interested in shooting pistols, you're interested in some fun competition and really, really learning, even if you're not into competition, you don't really care if you're going to be a champion or anything like that. But just if you have a concealed carry license, you profess that you are somebody that carries a firearm for self-defense or uses one for self-defense, particularly a pistol, either at home or on your person. IDPA is, I believe, one of the best ways to get competent with that, and I think it's absolutely critical. And I would say that, you know, it should almost be a requirement for you mentally to consider using IDPA as a tool for you to either become a good competitor or just really competent with your pistol. I hope it helps. Take care.